What's up, people? Pizowell here with something of a public service announcement for all you collectors out there, particularly those of you who may be new to collecting. This is the NECA Cult Classics Series 3 Icons Michael Myers figure. This figure was released somewhere between 2006 and 2010. I'm not exactly sure on the precise release date of this figure. However, this figure is quite sought after in collector communities. This figure, still in its original packaging and in good shape, can sell for anywhere from $150 to $200 or more online. However, this is not the NECA Cult Classics Series 3 Icons Michael Myers figure. This is a knockoff. Now, you can buy these knockoffs for around 25 bucks or so online all day. There are plenty of them out there on eBay. However, I've seen more and more of these knockoffs listed for sale in Facebook collectors groups, and particularly on eBay, for $100 or more. As a matter of fact, I just jumped on eBay and I saw two listed, one for $109 and the other for $117. Now, most seasoned collectors can identify the knockoff figures as knockoff figures very easily, so they usually don't last very long listed for sale in collectors groups on Facebook. But on eBay, if you run across this figure listed for 100 to 120 bucks, still in its original packaging and in good shape, you could easily think, man, that is a heck of a deal, and I've got to jump on that deal ASAP, and the shady seller has just made a very nice profit from this knockoff. Now, I don't own an original Cult Classics Icon Series 3 Myers figure to compare the knockoff to, but this is a very nice reproduction, I have to say. The packaging looks legit, the figure inside it looks legit, it's even numbered on the back. My hat is off to whoever sculpted and painted this thing, because they did a bang-up job. However, where this figure reveals its Fugazi nature is in the Halloween title. The inside of the O in Halloween is shaded in white. On the real figure, the inside of that O is black. The space inside the O is also white on the back of the packaging. I bought this figure knowing full well that it was a knockoff. I wanted to take an up-close and personal look at it. And if the counterfeiters had put the same attention to detail into the packaging for the figure as they did with the sculpt and the paint job of the figure itself, it'd be very difficult to tell the knockoff from the real thing. So before we take the knockoff out of its packaging and get a real up-close and personal look at it, first let's take a close look at the packaging here. And I have to say, whoever is responsible for replicating this figure and its packaging, they did an excellent job. This packaging is really well done. It's even got the NECA Real Toys logos down there at the bottom. It looks absolutely legit. The back of the packaging, it's pretty much a perfect replication of the back of the original packaging. I have heard people say online that the image of Myers back here and just this overall is a little lighter and not quite as sharp as the imagery and the writing and whatnot on the back of the legitimate figure. But I mean, just, you know, without looking too in-depth at it, it looks 100% legit. You've got Michael there, you've got the write-up. Again, it's even numbered, and you've got the other Cult Classics Series 3 Icons figures that were also available. So yeah, whoever did this packaging for this knockoff, they did an excellent job, I have to say. So it's even got the warning there, the choking hazard warning. Ages 18 and up. I mean, my goodness gracious. So, all right, without further ado, let's take the knockoff Michael Myers Cult Classics Series 3 Icons figure out of its packaging and get an up-close and personal look at it. Now, the very first thing I did once I took the figure out of its packaging was to smell it. Now, if you're familiar with my channel, you know that a couple of years ago I did a video in which I bought some Mexican knockoff horror toys off of eBay, and those things smelled so horribly. I don't know if it was what they used to paint them, if it was the plastic that was used to make them, a combination of both, but they they smelled horrible. They smelled incredibly just toxic. So yes, this figure does not smell that way. This figure just smells like an ordinary NECA figure. It smells like plastic. So it also, this knockoff passes the smell test. First, let's take a look at the accessories that come with the figure. Here is the pumpkin, and this pumpkin looks really good. This is a really well sculpted pumpkin. It looks like the pumpkin that has come with various other Michael Myers NECA figures. It's even got the little opening here in the back that you can put like a watch battery into, and the pumpkin will light up. This is a really good reproduction of the pumpkin that's come with a lot of Michael Myers figures, NECA Michael Myers figures in the past. So yeah, this is a really good reproduction of that pumpkin. Here is the kitchen knife, or the butcher knife. It looks like your pretty standard NECA knife accessory. I would say that this one's, well, it's pretty, I mean, it's not flimsy at all. It's made of pretty thick plastic. The handle on it, as far as the paint job on the handle, it looks a little off to me, but other than that, I mean, it looks just like any other knife accessory that you would get with a NECA figure. Actually, this one's probably a little thicker. It's probably a little more durable than some of the knife accessories that I've gotten in the past with legitimate NECA figures. And here is the figure itself. Now, one thing I noticed almost immediately with this figure is how loose his arms and his head is. Now, if you've bought a NECA figure and you've taken it from out of its packaging, you know that the figure's joints can be very, very tight when you first remove them from the packaging. This figure is very loose. He's very limber, put it that way, in the shoulder and in like the forearm, or the elbow, I should say. So yeah, very, very limber. And his head almost feels like it's like too loose, like it's gonna come off. Yeah, I kind of don't want to mess with it too much because it feels like it's just kind of hanging on there by a thread. As far as the sculpt on the head, it looks really good. I looked at several photos of the legitimate NECA Cult Classics Series 3 Michael Myers figure, and the only thing that I can say is different about this one is the mask on this one. It appears to be a little dirtier around the neck than on the legitimate figure. Other than that, the mask looks pretty much exactly the same. The paint job on the figure also looks really, really good. And it looks a lot like the paint job on the figure, on the legitimate figure. So there you can see the his coveralls. They're painted black, but they've got like a little bit of like a grayish blue highlight on them, highlighting all the wrinkles and stuff. We've got some, we've actually got some green on the back of it. That's interesting. Yeah, I'm not sure what's up with the green back here. It's also on the back of the sleeve of his coveralls. Just on one sleeve, but not on the other. That's really odd. If you own the legitimate NECA Cult Classics Series 3 Icons Michael Myers figure, does yours have green green splotches of paint on its butt and on the left elbow? Let me know down in the comments section below. Yeah, but that's very odd. I did not see any green on the butt or on the back of the left arm of any of the figures, the legitimate figures that I saw online. But yeah, that's interesting. The boots are pretty good. The boots have got some green on them too. Very interesting. But yeah, again, the boots look great. The coveralls look great. The hands, I thought, looked a little wonky on this figure. I don't know how well you can see that. But then when I looked online at some of the legitimate figures, the hands on those figures looked a little wonky too. Here's the figure holding the kitchen knife, and the kitchen knife slides effortlessly into the figure's hand. So if I didn't know better and I bought this thinking that it was the legitimate figure, and I took it out of its packaging and I saw how loose its arms and its elbows were, I would have some questions, definitely, because I would figure that, you know, a figure like this, where the joints are stiff to begin with, after it's sat in packaging for 10 years or longer, it would be incredibly stiff. But again, this guy is really, really loose. But that would be the only real indicator to me. Well, that and maybe the green, like baby vomit on the back of his coveralls. Those would really be the only indications to me that I would be dealing with, you know, a reproduction or a knockoff or not a legitimate figure. Oh, and the fact that his head is just, again, very, very loose. It's almost like it's just barely hanging on. Otherwise, now having taken an up-close and personal look at the figure, the paint job, the sculpt, the whole 9 yards, again, this is a really well-done reproduction of the NECA Cult Classics Series 3 Icons Michael Myers figure. So collectors beware, these knockoffs are everywhere. Now, if you want to purchase this figure knowing that it's a reproduction and add it to your collection, that's fine. Hey, it's only 25 bucks, and for a dupe, it's a pretty darn good one. Just don't get duped into thinking that this figure is legit. Be wary, be mindful. If the O inside the Halloween title is shaded in white on the front and the back of the packaging, then you've got yourself a knockoff. I hope you collectors out there found this little public service announcement to be useful in some way. Don't be taken advantage of by shady sellers online. If you want the legitimate figure, it's out there. You may just have to weed through a lot of these knockoffs before you find the legitimate Cult Classics Series 3 Icons Michael Myers figure for sale. If you found this video helpful in any way, please leave it a thumbs up and share it on social media. Maybe it'll help a collector or two avoid getting ripped off by a shady seller and save them some money and some pain. If you're not following me on social media, those links are in the description. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Take care, and until next time, peace. A big thank you to all my awesome Patreon supporters. I appreciate your generosity and support of my channel. Become a patron today and join me for monthly live streams and have a say in what movies I review on my channel. Patreon.com/pizowell, or follow the link in the description. Say hello to the internet, Jeremy.
Hello to the internet.